Again, these are the symbols again. The big thing to take away from it is that if you don't type your symbol correctly, it's just not, the code's not going to run. All right, let's look at your lab document. I'm not sure what I did. There's something that it doesn't like in this document version, but basically the project requirements. First, we're going to exit the application. Add the means to edit your application from your main menu scene. You're going to add a button. Now, the way we set up the button is going to be particular. We have to do something for the application as well as for the editor. We're going to build a standalone Windows application. We'll then build a HTML5 application or web application, and then we're going to make a few setting changes, and then we'll be able to set this up to be uploaded to Itch.io. So let's start with, and I'm just going to jump right in right away. Here's your project. Can you at my own risk? So as soon as Unity gets, hey, hey. So let's start with our button canvas right here. Here's our main menu. I'm just going to literally just duplicate this button, and I'm going to put it at 120, and I'll make this. Hello. There you go. Sorry, quit. And again, I did something where I made this a prefab, not necessarily what you would want in other places. And then down in the button right here, I know that in the main menu buttons, there is a quit application function already for you. So I'm gonna basically map it to that. So that's what we need to do in, not Control S. There we go. So I'm gonna save the scene. So the change that we need to do is gonna be in the main menu buttons. All right, so here is the quit application section. This is the function I talked about. All right, this is really simple. It is application dot quit. Now that is going to end the application in the runtime. Now if we go back to Unity and we press play, it's not going to do anything. And the reason for this is that first of all, we need to add a using Unity editor to this list here. And this will allow us to get access to the editor class. And we want to go, there's a property for isPlay. And this is basically, this is whether the editor is in play mode. And for our purposes, we're just going to set this to false. So far, so good. I'm actually going to run. And then when we go and click on the quick button, hey, it closed the application in the editor. So I'm going to move on, and we're not actually done, but I need to show you what's wrong, why this is what's going to cause problems. So we're going to go to build profiles, and I'm going to go back. I was on the web. Let's go back to Windows, and you switch back to Windows. Okay, so scene list has all my scenes. I'm gonna go and build and run. So for our purposes, you want to make a folder called builds, build or builds, and in there, make a new folder for just call it Windows. Win is the shorthand for Windows. And I'm just going to click that and select folder. Now this is going to start up, but it's going to fail. And it did fail, and we're going to jump down console. Hey, assets, main menu buttons. Name editor application does not exist in the current context. Error building player because scripts had compiler errors. And the reason for this, let's go back, is this class right here and this package does not exist when we build the game itself. So the first thing that we need to do is actually just say there's a pound, we need to use the if here, pound sign if. This is like you talked about Unity editor. Now we need to make sure there's on the other side there's the end if. So we've wrapped this piece of code this right here to only run if the editor is active. And we need to do the same down here as well. Unity editor, pound sign, end if. Now, just for the sake of argument, I'm actually going to go in here. I'm going to use the if Unity standalone. Just to wrap this line of code just to be in standalone. I mean, it's not doing anything in the editor, but this is good, just good showing you good practice of like, hey, here's code that's only going to be run in the standalone application, and here's only code that's going to run in the editor. So again, I'm going to go back. I'll save. Again, I'll go back to Unity. I'm going to run it. I'll click quick button, and everything's okay here as to be expected. Now I'm going to build and run. So now that I set up, so what happened is because I set up that Windows folder already, I can just do build and run and have it basically build the application. So here is now the standalone application, and I click quit, and it quit. If I go back to my folder, let me see, let's go back to project. So let's show this in Explorer. So here's the Explorer, here's the builds, here's the Windows, and here is the game built. And here is my exe. And you can see, there we go. I've got my Plinko game. Here's the soccer game. Here's the combat game. And I can quit. And that's my application. So that's your first part. Show me this. So the first step is to show me this application running. Once you've got this, then we can look at the web. All right. So in our web build, we won't need the quit button. We'll handle that in code. In fact, we'll handle that with a preprocessor, the preprocessor defined to only run that code if we're on the web. So let's actually do that right now. So let's go back to our script. All right. Give yourself an example, a public game object, and this is going to be the quit button. And before we write any more code, I'm going to go back to Unity right away. And here is our and I'm actually going to assign the quit button right away and save the scene. So I'm doing this now before I forget to do it later. All right, back to code. And I'm actually going to do this in awake. This makes sense. I mean, I could do it, I would have done it in start, but I've got awake here. So I'll just do this here. So in our case, the if is the web. And I am, Let's go back to the processor. Where is it? This is platform symbols. Here we go. So I'm literally just going to copy and paste in this case. And then I'm going to do the pound sign and if. All right, so right now, this code in here, because we're basically on the Windows editor, it's not going to, like, everything is going to be grayed out. I'm just going to just write my code here. So again, my quit button, and we're going to set that active to be false. That's all we need to do. And I'm going to take that one line of code, and I'm just going to copy and paste it into this section right here now. And then make sure that's indented correctly. And that's all I need to do for my main menu buttons. I'm going to save. We'll go back to Unity. We'll just run it just to be on the safe side. And you'll see that it didn't run that code. All right, let's go to our build profiles again. And this is, again, we're going to click on web and we're going to, switch the platform. I keep thinking I can do the use the right click. This happened pretty quickly because I was already on the web platform. So for you, this is going to take maybe a couple minutes because it's got to import assets, recompile scripts, and do other things to be correct for the web platform. All right, I am going to click build. And then I created again, I had this folder created. I'm going to just make a new folder just so web 2, just so you can see. I created the folder. Again, you'll just create a web folder, but I'm going to go in here and just select this folder. And go in and select this folder. There we go. Again, you don't have the web folder already, so you wouldn't be doing web 2. And here now it's building the application. And it built it. I'm going to do build and run just to make my life easier. And then it pops up, and here is the web. And you can see here's my main menu, and it did in this case because the exit button. Why are we getting rid of the exit button? Because here's our exit button. I mean that's really, it's a web application. So again, here's Plinko, here's soccer, here's combat. I mean, we can go down and we can make the game full screen. Hit escape, and then we can close the web browser. And there we go. So far so good. All right. When we go to, let me just show and explore. So we'll go to builds. Here is the web 2, and this is what we get in terms of the output. And for our purposes, we're going to just grab the index file, the template data of the build, and we'll send it to a compressed zip folder. Now, this will work because I've done something. Let's go back to Unity 1 second. And your lab document details this very well. In order to bring this to itch.io, the compression format has to be disabled. Something's weird with itch.io. They don't like compression, so we turn this to disabled. How do we get there? It's not that hard. They do have a project settings buttons right here. We can also get to edit project settings here as well. And it's under player, publishing settings, compression format, and I have it disabled already. Normally this is like gzip, or I think it's gzip is the default. We're going to set this disabled. We can close the window. Make sure to save the project. Now I already had that disabled. You would just basically build it again. And then you zip it up. And so this is now the file that we will so this is, I'm going to rename 1343 app. So that's I'm going to rename it that. So let's go to itch.io. So if you've not created an itch.io account, make one. All right. We're not gonna you're not gonna need to set it up again. Itch.io. itch.io. All right. So I'm already logged in because I have an account, and you should have an account already because there's lots of great games on here, lots of things. Game jams are done through itch.io as well. So I'm gonna go to my account. You can see right here, I did an example earlier. I've done some examples. Basically, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna upload a new project, and this is gonna be the game 1343 example application. All right. So it is telling about I don't have payment conferred. If you got some price above, no one will be able to download your project. We're not going to ask people for money. All right. So we're not going to worry about that. They reserve quality before posting your project. Don't worry about we can worry about that later on. But here is the example application. There we go. There we go. This is example of how to upload to load a Unity application to. What are we uploading? It's a game, piece of software you can play. Again, there's other tools here, but basically we're uploading a game. What type of project? We're going to pick the HTML version. So this is an older Unity version, Java applet, Flash, way. If you got an F that if you have an site that we played in the browser, hooray! Downloadable. You can have your game downloadable, but we're gonna go with an HTML. Release status, project complete, might receive some updates. I'm gonna leave this as released. Or you could probably do prototype. Pricing, but no payments. Just don't bother with pricing right now. And that's not the purpose of this. That's not the purpose of this project. And then finally, we need to upload. They do have a file size of 1G, but again, we're not going anywhere. Like we go back to the zip file, it's only 17 megabytes. So, in fact, grab this location here, and so we can go to upload files, and you can paste that into here, and that will bring you to the folder that you need. And this is the zip file. Click open. And then we don't need to touch anything else. The file we've played in the browser. It's the only thing you need to touch. Embed in page. Click to launch in full screen. It's what we need. It is mobile friendly. And it's landscape. Let's be honest. That's how we built it. Details. Hey, this is a test application to show students how to upload to. I can take out the hey. Genre. I'll just put it under educational for now. Tags if you want to go here. You are not submitting to Lunar 56, but if you were, you could. That's how these game jams are submitted. And then I'm actually going to disable the comments. But you can have a discussion board, have comments, disable it for our purpose here. And then visually access. So right now it's a draft. We need to save and view the page first, and then come back to set this to public. So let's save and view the page. So it's loading the game for the first time. We'll run the game, and then we'll full screen it. We'll full screen it now. And then here we go. Here is the application that I built. Plinko, soccer. And again, this is you definitely would want to spruce this up and improve on this. So I'm gonna go back. I'll go back, and I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna edit, click edit game, and I'm gonna go down to the bottom. Now I can set this to be public, and I'll save, and I can click view page, and here we go. This is Grash itch.io game, blah blah blah, and this right here is the URL, and this is what you are submitting to me for Lab 10. So again, you're showing me the application, so I know you got everything in place before you do the web build. And then finally, you'll do the web build, and this is what will come up. If there's an error that comes up, it's saying they can't, it's dealing, and they'll say something about compression, like that this server doesn't support this compression. That's again going back to Unity. That's basically the project settings, player, public settings, compression format. That wasn't set to disable. And that's pretty much what you need to do. So again, we did need to use the if editor to wrap the using. We needed to use the if editor to wrap this line of code. Here is the Unity standalone, and here is the Unity WebGL. So one thing is that I've done willy-nilly in here. Um, one way that you might handle something is that if there's something you're doing and it's done specifically for the platform, you basically write the code for that, like a function for each platform, and then basically have a master function that basically has the calls to the digital platform functions wrapped basically in the if standalone. Um, we look at combat, or not combat manager. We'll go back to Lab 06. We'll look at the combat player. Let's think about here we have the get input, and then down here basically we are calling the individual. We got our clear functions, but we've got get player 0, get player 1, get player 2. Same idea is that there's this generic get input function, and then that's calling the specific function that we need. So if you were on multiple platforms, this is how you do a generic function, master function that's calling the individual functions. So that we've kind of done that here with the player number. So any last questions? Anything? All right. This is going to be again due next week. Lab 9 is due next week with us. So this is not hard. Building the application is not hard. Getting it onto the web is not that hard. It's just there's a few steps you have to take, and the lab document goes over that. All right. Now is the time to start thinking about what you want to do for the rest of this term in terms of a personal project. Again, this is your final project. You're building me a small mini game. All right. We're not building out a whole game. We're building out a small section of a game. And it could be something like, again, the Pokemon Go app has a Pokemon. You flick Pokeballs to collect the Pokemon. Anything out of Mario Party, anything out of WarioWare is up for grabs. Oh, there's actually a new game that came out. It's oh, what is it called? Something 50. Come on. There we go. UFO 50. Yeah, new video game is actually 50 new video games. So let's UFO. Let's just go to the Steam page just quickly. So any of these games, these individual games and from UFO 50, perfectly in line with what you can do. Obviously, a soccer game, the Plinko machine, and the combat. These are off limits in terms of games that you are creating. I want you to create something new. So here is something another game of games that is worth looking at. And how much is it? It's only 25 bucks. Not bad. First batch is coming. Yeah, it's literally 50 games in one. So this is what we're talking about. This is what we're thinking in terms of that type of project. I'm looking for a concept document, about a page, half page should be the minimum. No more than a page and a half, really. Again, you don't have a lot of time, so think small, think simple. All right. It's okay to go with style. One of the things that I think after I've done the recording, I'm going to show you a video called Juice It or Loose It. And the idea is that, hey, you've got, like, say, you'll get to a point where the game is up and running. The next step for you is to make it more interesting. So I'm going to stop the recording right here.